Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Taya and this is Taya's Turning Pages. So today I'm going to show you guys all of the books that I have been accumulating over the past couple of weeks and months. I know I just filmed an unhaul, but like I mentioned in that unhaul video, there was a stack of books behind me and those books were the books that I'm about to show you today. So these books are already accounted for. I do have enough space on my bookshelves as well as my book cart to put them on. So claps for that, thank goodness. I did not go out and buy all of these new books, which I'm really happy about, with the exception of 3. Some of these books I bought myself, others were given to me by publishers or the actual author. So again, I will go through all of that. Another thing that I wanted to say is that yes, I know my background is different. There's no rhyme or reason as to why. I just wanted to film a cozy video today. So I'm sitting on the floor in my reading corner with my big t-shirt on. I love these types of videos where they're just more casual, more lax, and that's the vibe I was going for today. So yeah, but with all of that out of the way, let's jump into the haul. So the first couple of books that I have here are actually a part of the same series. I don't know what the name of this series is, but I'm just going to go with the Right Swipe series. We're just gonna call it that. But right here I have the 3 books in Alicia Ray's romance series. So we have the first book, which is The Right Swipe, and then I think this is the second book, which is called Girl Gone Viral, and then the third book, which is called First Comes Like. I hope that I got these in the right order. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that is the order that these books go in. Either way, I'm really excited to dive into this series because I know that this was really popular on Bookstagram and Booktube when it first debuted, but I was not a part of Bookstagram or Booktube during that time frame, so I did miss out on these, but I am really happy that I was able to find these on Pango Books for a decent price. I was planning on reading these in a reading vlog. I'm still not sure if I'm going to film that video, but if I do, you guys will know. But if not, I'll definitely just talk about these books in whatever monthly wrap up they end up in. But like I said, really excited to finally dive into this series. I don't know anything about it with the exception of this being very social media focused, which is really cool. So besides the fact that I missed out on this series and I want to go back and read it, I also was compelled to pick this up because I actually read Partners in Crime by the same author, and this is actually her newest release, and y'all, I loved this book. It was so camp, it was so fun, and I was in a reading slump when I picked this book up, and this single-handedly got me out of my reading slump. It's definitely not like a super hard-hitting romance or anything like that, but again, I still had a great time reading it. I finished it in one sitting and I couldn't have asked for anything more. So I am just going to read the synopsis for the first book, and on the back here it says, Rhiannon and Hunter may have revolutionized romance in the digital world, but in real life she only swipes right on her career and the occasional hookup. The cynical dating app creator controls her love life with a few key rules. New pics are by invite only. If someone stands you up, block them with extreme prejudice. And number 3, protect your heart. Only there aren't rules to govern her attraction to her newest match, former pro football player Samson Lima. The sexy and seemingly sweet hunk woos her one magical night and then disappears. Rethought, she buried her hurt over Samson ghosting her until he suddenly resurfaces months later, still big, still beautiful, and in league with a business rival. He says he won't fumble their second chance, but she's wary. Temporary physical partnership is one thing, but a merger of hearts? That's too high a risk. That is so cute. I never read the synopsis until today, and oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to bump these up on my TBR because I just think that is so cute. So I'm not going to read the synopsises for the second and the third book just because I don't want to spoil anything, obviously. I'm sure that this is a companion series and there's probably no spoilers, but I don't want to risk it, so yeah. But again, really excited to have these in my collection, and I can't wait to get to these at some point this summer, hopefully. Fingers crossed. The next book that I have here is also by Alicia Ray, and it is called Hate to Want You. And this is a like mass market paperback, as you can see right here. I've never seen this before, so I don't know if this is part of a series. It does say Forbidden Hearts on here, so maybe that is the name of the series, but I couldn't find any other books on Pango Books that match this, so we're just gonna give this a try and hope for the best. But I read the synopsis for this book and this sounds so interesting and right up my alley. So this is a forbidden romance as well as an enemies to lovers romance as well as second chance. So it is literally ticking off all of the boxes that I look for in romance books, and I'm really excited to dive into this one. On the back here it says, one night, no one will know. That was the deal. Every year, Livy Kane and Nicholas Chandler would share one perfect night of illicit pleasure. The forbidden hours let them forget the tragedy that haunted their past, and the last names that made them enemies. Until the night she didn't show up. Now Nicholas has an empire to run. He doesn't have time for distractions, and Livy's sudden reappearance in town is a major distraction. She's the one woman he shouldn't want, so why can't he forget how right she feels in his bed? Livy didn't come home for Nicholas, but fate seems determined to remind her of his presence, and their past. Although the passion between them might have once run hot and deep, not even love can overcome the scandal that divided their families. Being together might be against all the rules, but being apart is impossible. Woo, so yeah, I'm gonna have to bump this up on my TBR because I need to see what this book is giving. That synopsis gag order. This book is actually very sentimental for me because this was actually personalized and signed by Selma Blair. I actually met her at book signing and I got to meet with her and speak with her, and it was just such a positive experience. So for those of you who do not know, Selma Blair is an actress. She most notably played in Cruel Intentions, as well as Vivian Kensington in Legally Blonde. Legally Blonde is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's truly one of those comfort movies for me, and it's just a cinematic masterpiece. So I knew Selma Blair from that movie. But Selma Blair is also an advocate for multiple sclerosis, which is also known as MS. Selma Blair was diagnosed with MS, so she has been really dedicating a lot of her time to educating people on MS, as well as just talking about her experiences. And so this is her memoir where she talks, I'm sure, about her experience in Hollywood, but also what it's like living with MS. And so I know that this is going to be a very moving and poignant memoir, and I'm really looking forward to diving into this one at some point too. But you guys know, if you've been watching my channel for a while, how much I love memoirs and celebrity memoirs in particular. I'm really trying to get back into nonfiction, but especially getting back into my memoir bag, because the last memoir that I read was I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy, and I love that one. I gave that a 5 out of 5 stars. So I'm just really looking forward to getting back into my memoir bag. And like I said, this was signed and personalized by Selma Blair, and y'all, the note, it's just so cute. It's so cute. First of all, can we get into the pictures, please? Because I love when authors include personal pictures and mementos in their memoirs. It's just such a nice touch. And this is her signature right here. Right here, as you can see, she left me an entire note, which I just think is so sweet. And I also love her little drawing right here. Right here, she signed it and then said, "To Taya, huge love from Vivian Kensington and me, really, love you." I just thought that was so sweet and so nice. I had to tell her how much I loved her work, but especially her work in Legally Blonde, because again, one of my favorite movies. And she was just so nice and so sweet and just really receptive to like talking about her experiences on set. The next book that I have here is Ander and Santi Were Here by Johnny Garzavia. So if you guys watched my most anticipated romance releases of 2023 video, then you would know that this book was included in there. So grateful and so happy that the publisher sent this book my way. So thank you so much again to Wednesday Books for sending this to me, because this is a book that I was just so excited to read. Once I saw this and once I opened the package for this, I was over the moon and just hysterical. This book actually already published. This published on May 2nd. So I am definitely behind on reading this and getting my review out, but I still plan on reading this very soon. I'm hoping that I can read it during the month of May at least, but I'm not really sure with moving and all. I'm not really sure how that's going to work out, but I really do want to prioritize this one because this again is a book that I'm highly anticipating. But I am just going to read the synopsis for this book too, because that's what really sold me on this book and why I wanted to read it so badly. Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of the universe meets The Sun Is Also a Star, a YA contemporary love story about a non-binary Mexican-American teen who falls for the shy new waiter at their family's taqueria, finding home, falling in love, fighting to belong. The Santos Vista neighborhood of San Antonio, Texas is all Ander Lopez has ever known. The smell of pan dulce, the mixture of Spanish and English filling the streets, and especially their job at their family's taqueria that has inspired Ander as a muralist. And as they get ready to leave for art school, it's all of these things that give them hesitancy, that give them the thought, are they ready to leave it all behind? To keep Ander from becoming complacent during their gap year, their family fires them so they can transition from restaurant life to focusing on their murals and preparing for college. That is, until they meet Santiago Garcia, the hot new waiter. Falling for each other becomes as natural as breathing. Through Santi's eyes, Ander starts to understand who they are and want to be as an artist, and Ander becomes Santi's first step towards making Santos Vista in the US feel like home. Until ICE agents come for Santi, and Ander realizes how fragile that sense of home is. How love can only hold on for so long when the whole world is against them. And when eventually the world starts to win. This sounds like this is going to be so emotionally moving, gripping, and just so poignant, and I can't wait, like I said, to give this a read. The next two books that I have here are a little bit random, but I still wanted to show them anyway because they apply. So the next book that I have here is actually like a journal, but it is called The Sadness Book. So I was actually watching YouTube, like regular YouTube, not BookTube, and I was watching one of Glamazon Tay's videos, and she actually hauled this in one of her most recent Amazon favorites videos, and I just thought that this sounded so interesting and something that I needed in my life. So this book, as you can tell by the title, is The Sadness Book. And so there are different prompts and different topics in here that really just help you channel your emotions and channel your sadness and your frustration, essentially. So like I mentioned in a few of my other videos, I have been struggling a little bit with my mental health. I'm not going to get all into my business because that's just not the type of person that I am, but I did just want to give some context. So when I saw Glamazon Tay talk about this book, I just knew that I needed it. I've never been somebody that actually like writes down my thoughts and feelings. I should, because I'm so in tune and so in touch with my emotions, but for some reason I just don't write them down. I don't know why, but I feel like this is going to be the book that finally lights a fire under my ass and makes me do it, especially because the topics in here are just, they're really intense and they're definitely gonna hit you. So what you do essentially is that you obviously flip to whatever the prompt is for that day, you write your thoughts down, and then you rip out the page and then you throw it out. So it really is supposed to be a cathartic, therapeutic experience. I just wanted to read what it says on the back. It says, "My brain kept me awake last night, like the night before and the night before. Please stop, I begged. How can I make you stop? Write it down," my brain said. I'll just read a few of the prompts so that way you guys can get a general idea of what type of questions it's going to ask you. So some of them are pretty tame, but then there are other ones that are really intense. So this first one, I feel like it's just really intense right off the bat. It says, "Do you like who you are?" This one says, "Write down quotes that break your heart. Don't put it under your Instagram post. Put it here." Another prompt right here says, "Write down something you can't say out loud." So those are the type of prompts that, like I said, you're going to get with this book. Again, very intense, very emotional. I'm sure I'm going to cry and be very triggered going through some of the topics in here, but I really wanted to give this a try and see if this is something that will work for me and just help me keep my emotions in check, help me balance all of that out. I did just want to show this just in case anybody is interested in picking this up, and if you are into journaling or if you want to get into journaling. And then the next book, or I guess technically magazine, that I have here that I wanted to show you is the Elle magazine featuring Meg Thee Stallion's May 2023 cover. I am so happy that I have this. I'm a huge fan of Megan Thee Stallion. I've been a hottie since day one, okay? Since the Stally freestyle, period. But I have been a Meg Thee Stallion fan for a long time. And so when I found out that she was going to have her own cover and her own cover story with Elle, I knew I needed to pick up a physical copy because I think this is the first and the only time that Meg is going to address the shooting that took place back in 2020 with her and Tory Lanez, as well as the trial and then the aftermath and just her journey of healing. So I really wanted to support because, again, huge fan. Also, can we just take a second to appreciate how gorgeous my girl looks? Like, get into that cover. I do have an entire like magazine collection that I haven't even shared with you guys just because, I don't know, I don't have any space for them, to be honest. So they are kind of packed away right now, but I'm hoping that when I'm able to get a bigger space and get, you know, another bookshelf or two, I will be able to have a whole shelf dedicated to my magazines. I'm really into fashion and really into just like Vogue and things like that, and so I do have a few Vogue covers with Beyonce, so I do have a few magazines featuring my favorite artists and entertainers, and again, I would like to have those displayed on my bookshelf in some way, shape, or form. I think one day I will show you guys a actual like tour of my magazine collection, but that won't come for some time, so don't hold your breath, but it will come. It just won't come anytime soon. And the last two books that I have here are thrillers, and the first book that I wanted to show is What Lies in the Woods by Kate Alice Marshall. So this is actually a book of the month pick, and this was back in January 2023. I've never showed this on my channel or really talked about this book in depth at all, but I have had this book since January and I still have not picked it up yet. I'm hoping to do that this month because I actually finished He Started It by Samantha Downing a couple of nights ago, and it made me realize how much I miss thrillers. Okay, like I miss my thrillers. Even though I love romance and I'm loving all of the love right now, I really do miss my thrillers. So I'm really trying to make my way back into it. I'm trying to just do it instead of saying I'm going to do it. So because I finished that book, it reignited my love for thrillers. I wanted to give this book a try this month as well. So if I have the time to squeeze this in, I definitely will, but I'm not gonna beat myself up over it if I don't. So the only things that I know about this book is that it follows 3 female best friends who are, I think, like attacked in the woods one summer during their childhood, and they like essentially like lied about it though. Like they were attacked, but I don't think they actually told the real story of like who attacked them and why. And so years pass, and I think that one of the friends actually wants to come clean and tell the truth about what really happened in the woods that night until she goes missing. And so now the other 2 friends, I think, have to figure out what happened to their friend that went missing, essentially. So yeah, it sounds like it's going to be interesting. It sounds like it's going to be very twisty and turny, and I'm really excited to see which direction Kate Alice Marshall takes us in. I've never read anything by her before, so this will be my first book. And the last book that I have here in this pile is The Long Way Back by Nicole Bart. I have a story time for this book because why did Nicole Bart send this to me? Nicole Bart, yes, the Nicole Bart sent this to me. I'm still reeling from that, and I still can't believe that she knows who I am and that she was willing to send me an arc of her new book. And for those of you who do not know, Nicole Bart is actually the author of one of my favorite mystery thrillers, and it is called Everything We Didn't Say. If you've been a consistent viewer, then you know how much I gush about this book, how much I talk about this book, and how much I recommend it, because I just felt like this book did not get its just day when it was first released. I feel like this book was mismarketed, and I will continue to say that because it's true. It's true. I don't care. But this book to me was mismarketed, and it didn't get the best ratings, nor did it get that many reads from readers. And it's a shame because this is one of those mystery thrillers that is so atmospheric, and there's a larger message to tell within this story. And I just really resonated with this group of characters, and I love this book. And so because I love this book so much and because I go up for it so much, I did reach out to Nicole Bart on Bookstagram and asked her if she would be willing to send me an ARC because of how much I love, again, everything we didn't say. And she was so sweet, so receptive, and she was like, sure. So she did send me this book, and I just have to thank her once again because wow. Wow. I usually don't step out of my comfort zone like that, like really talk to my favorite authors, because I don't know, it's just one of those things that I'm still trying to get comfortable with. But I have had a few interactions with my favorite authors, and every time it happens, I just cannot believe that this is my life, essentially. But anyways, getting back to the actual book at hand, this is Nicole Bart's new book, and this won't be published until June 13th, so still some time left. I do plan on reading this before the pub date, so that way I can give you guys my full thoughts on this book. So definitely make sure you follow me over on Bookstagram, because that's where I will give you guys my actual thoughts in real time. And this book just sounds so interesting, and to be honest, it reminds me of Lisa Jewell. She is my favorite thriller author to date. Her and Alice Feeney, those are my girls, but Lisa Jewell, #1 for me. But on the back here it says, good mamas don't let their babies grow up to be Instagram stars. Mother and daughter Charlie and Eva never sought social media fame, but when a stunning photo of Eva went viral, fame found them. Now, after more than 2 years documenting life on the road in their vintage Airstream trailer, the duo has temporarily settled on the north shore of Lake Superior. Eva is happily finishing her senior year of high school and applying to college, but Charlie longs for the adventures they left behind. When Eva goes missing, less than a week before her graduation, it's Charlie who is immediately suspected of foul play, not just by their fans, but also by the police and the FBI. As the fight about one more road trip comes to light and the truth about the relationship is questioned, Charlie realizes the rosy facade they portrayed online hid a complicated and potentially dangerous reality. Now, to clear her name and find out what has happened to her daughter, she'll have to confront her own role in Eva's disappearance and whether she knows her daughter at all. So if you are a fan of Lisa Jewell, then you know exactly what I mean by this book sounding very similar to like Lisa Jewell. I feel like Lisa Jewell has a lot of stories that focus on mother-daughter relationships and that daughter going missing, and I feel like that's kind of the same vibe here. But there is a spin on this because this does focus on social media influencers, and so I'm really excited to see where this story goes, and I'm really looking forward to the commentary that's going to be on social media influencers and family channels, and you know, the whole conversation of parents exploiting their children on the internet. I'm sure there's going to be commentary on the true crime community in here, the whole nine. All right, y'all, we're almost done. This is the last set of books that I have to haul with you today, and as you can see, this is going to be the mini unboxing, the only unboxing that I have in this video. And I actually just picked up this package this morning because I ordered these books impulsively on like Saturday night and they just got to me, but I'm still really excited to finally have these books, and I can't wait to read every single one of them. You will see. And right here, look y'all, I finally have a box cutter. I finally grew up, became an adult, and decided to invest in an actual box cutter. Now, is it the most practical box cutter? Probably not, but it's really cute and it's pink and it looks like a little cloud. So I had no choice but to get it. I actually got this off of Amazon, and I will leave these linked down below too, just in case you are interested in picking these up. They have different colors, but of course I had to go with the pink one. I don't want my address showing, obviously, so I'm trying to do this in the best way possible. Okay. Okay. And this is powerful. Small but mighty. Ooh, okay. All right. Let's throw this over here. I'm so excited. Okay. All right, so the first two books that I'm going to show here, I have to. The two books that I'm referring to are Terms and Conditions and The Final Offer. Both are part of the Dreamland Billionaires series. So I read and finished the fine print a couple of nights ago, fell in love with it, fell in love with Rowan and Zara, and I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. And so of course I had to continue on with the series because I'm obsessed with the Kane brothers, and I need to figure out how Declan and Cal's stories are going to end. And so I am really anticipating both of these books, and I hope I love these books just as much as I love the fine print. I feel like it's going to be really hard to beat that book because I'm still obsessed. Like I have not been able to stop thinking about Zara and Rowan since I finished that book. I'm reading an entirely different romance right now, and it's one of my most anticipated romances, but my mind continues to go back to Zara and Rowan. So that says a lot. That really says a lot. Who would have thought that Lauren Asher would have been the author that really made me believe in love again? Okay, like who would have thought that she would have been the one to make me believe in love again? And I say that because I've never read anything by Lauren Asher until I read the fine print. I know that she is also the creator of that F1 series. I don't know if I'm going to pick that up anytime soon. Once I finish this series, maybe I will, but as of right now, I'm really just focused on the Dreamland Billionaire series because I'm obsessed with these brothers, and this whole concept of them running a theme park. I just think it is so cute. These are the final books in the series. So this is the second book, which is called Terms and Conditions, and this actually follows Declan and Iris, and Declan is the oldest brother. And then the last book in the series, which I feel like is everyone's favorite, is The Final Offer, and this follows Callahan, aka Cal's love story, and I think Cal is the middle brother, I'm pretty sure. So I am really excited, like I said, to read both of these. I'm not sure which one I'm the most excited to read, just because I really do love all of the brothers. So I know that I'm going to have to really dedicate some time to reading Cal's story, because this is long. This is a thick, chunky book, and let's see how many pages this is. This is almost 600 pages, so this is 583 pages. Woo, okay. I mean, I figured that Cal's story was going to be the longest anyway, just because you do find out a little bit more about him in the fine print, and you find out that he has had a really just tough time in life. But this is a lot. This is a lot. So I know I'm gonna have to really dedicate some time to this one. But like I said, the next book in the series is Terms and Conditions, and this one follows Declan and Iris's love story. And I feel like I don't hear too many people talk about Declan and Iris as much as they talk about Rowan and Zara, or Cal and Alana. Brief glimpses that we got of Declan in the fine print, I really did enjoy. So I'm really interested to see how him and Iris are going to navigate their relationship and everything that comes with it. And Declan is the oldest brother, and he is actually in line to become the CEO of Dreamland, which is the family business that they have. In order for Declan to become CEO, he has to follow his grandfather's will to a T, and his grandfather essentially gives him, as well as the rest of the Kane brothers, instructions in order for them to gain their inheritance, but also for them to take over whatever part they want to take over in the family company. And so Declan's instructions from his grandfather's will states that he has to get married and produce an heir. And Declan is pretty emotionally unavailable. He's not really interested in love. He's not really interested in being in a committed relationship. He really does pride himself on being like the hottest bachelor. But of course, in order for him to gain his inheritance and for him to take over the company, he has no choice but to follow his grandfather's rules. And so Declan is trying to find the right woman, I guess, for this partnership, for this union. He's not having any luck until his assistant, Iris, pretty much tells him that she'll marry him if he can't find anyone else. And so Declan does take Iris up on this offer, and you pretty much just follow these two throughout the story of them not being in love with each other and not wanting to really be in this relationship or this marriage. But of course, as time goes on, they ultimately start to like each other for real, and the story takes off from there. It's really interesting that both of them are on the same type time, and that they're both not really looking for love, but they just so happen to find it anyway. I'm trying to not deviate from my May TBR, but I might have to, just so I can read this. And then the third and final book in the series, like I mentioned, is called The Final Offer, and this one focuses on Cal and Alana. I am going to read the synopsis for this one just because I genuinely have no idea what Cal's story is about. So in the back here it says, I'm the Kane brother everyone gossips about behind closed doors. Trust fund brat, washed up athlete, high functioning alcoholic. No one knows the real me but her. Lana Castillo, my childhood best friend and the only woman I ever loved. When I broke her heart 6 years ago, I promised to never return to Lake Wisteria. I kept my word until my grandfather's will changed everything. To receive my inheritance, the request was simple in theory, until my entire plan blew up on the very first day. Turns out, Lana doesn't just live at the house, but she claims to own it too. Alana. Falling in love with Callahan Kane was a mistake. He told me so before destroying my heart in our friendship 6 summers ago. When he promised never to come back, I foolishly believed him. But then Cal showed up again, intending to sell his grandfather's lake house. The biggest flaw in his plan? My name is on the deed. So I just, oh y'all, I'm gonna have to probably do an entire like dedicated video to the Dreamland Billionaire series, because there are just so many things that I want to say about these books and just the overall like structure of this series. But cannot wait to read these two stories and to round out this entire series. And the last book that I have here is actually a wild card, because I did not have this book on my radar at all until I was watching LaceyBooklovers' most recent book haul video. She actually hauled this book and I was instantly intrigued, and I added it to my cart right away. So the book that I'm referring to is Jana Goes Wild by Farrah Heron. And so I'm so happy that I have another Farrah Heron book to read, because Farrah Heron is actually the author of Accidentally Engaged. I read that book a long time ago, like when I first started my booktube and my bookstagram, and I did unhaul that book just because even though I enjoyed it, I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed it, I just didn't see myself returning to it, and so I did unhaul it. And this one just sounds and looks so fucking cute. Look at that cover, look at that. Come on y'all, get into it, get into it. So the only things that I know about this is that this takes place at a wedding, and it takes place at a wedding in Tanzania. I love a good safari jungle type of setting when it comes to romances or just books in general. I just feel like we don't get that a lot, so when we do, I'm all here for it. Also, I was a huge fan of the Wild Thornberrys when I was growing up. That was one of my favorite kids shows. So whenever I can find a book that kind of has that same, again, setting, I'm gonna pick it up and read it. So on the back here it says, a laugh out loud rom-com with tons of heart about family, friends, and fresh starts. Jana Suleiman has never really fit in. Everyone always sees her as too aloof, too cool, too perfect. The one time she stepped out of her comfort zone, she ended up with a broken heart and a baby on the way. And lesson learned. Now she's a bridesmaid for a destination wedding in Serengeti National Park, and almost everyone she knows will be there. Her 5-year-old daughter, her mom, her friends, even her potential new boss. And of course, because who doesn't love surprises, her gorgeous but not to be trusted ex. Fortunately, Anil Malik is a great dad, even if Jana hasn't quite forgiven him for lying to her all those years ago. Determined to show he has no effect on her whatsoever, she and the bridesmaids concoct a go wild list to get Jana through the week. Sing karaoke? Sure. Perform the high school dance routine in front of strangers? Okay. But the more she lets down her guard, the less protection she has against her attraction to Anil. And Jana soon realizes it's one thing to walk on the wild side, and quite another to fall for her ex all over again. I'm so excited. Oh my goodness. This is another book that I might have to bump up on my TBR because this just sounds too good. And again, that cover, I can't get enough of it. Like, it is just so cute. I will always go feral over these type of rom-com covers, like no matter what. No matter what the book is about, if it's a cute cover, I'm going to at least pick it up and see what it's giving. So yes, I will let you guys know my thoughts on this book whenever I do get around to it, like I have said with all of these other books. All right, y'all, and those are all of the books that I had to haul with you today. Like I mentioned, this was a collective book haul, so I did not just pick up all of these books today, with the exception of 3 books that I just ordered, like I said, this past weekend. Other than that, these books have been sitting in this corner for a while, just collecting dust until I could clear out my shelves and make new space for them. Now that I finally hauled them, I can finally pack them away and then make sure that they're all good to go for when we move into our next apartment. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me and my channel out. And lastly, please make sure you follow me on Bookstagram as well as Storygraph. I will leave all of that information linked down below, as well as at the end of the video like I always do. I will see you guys in my next video.